Today you're making a monochromatic winter landscape. You're gonna be using blue as your one color. That's what monochromatic means. And also some black and white. Those are neutrals, so they don't count as a color. So you can have a color that you add some black to, or some white to, or some gray to make different versions of that color, and it's still considered one color. All right, so these you need to keep clean. Use the scoops, put the stuff on the plate. You're sharing the plate with your table. At the end of class, we'll throw the plate away. So the first thing everybody will do with their brush is use the side of their brush and do a white swoop across to be the snow in the foreground. So a landscape has a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. So you can't really see this, but I put white there. After that, you can work together to mix a soft blue for your middle ground. So white is a pretty weak color. You're only going to need a little bit of blue, and it will quickly turn into a light blue. Okay, so you decide your shade of white, or of blue. How light do you want it? Really soft or somewhere in the middle? It's up to y'all. So you're going to do some swiping back and forth to make your middle ground. And then the sky is probably going to be the most challenging part. So to do the sky, I'm going to rinse my brush good. Circular motions in the water, wipe it on the edge, not tapping. We don't want to make annoying noises, and we also don't want to splatter on our neighbors. Okay, I think that's pretty clean. I can test it on my fingers. That looks good. And I'm going to start with the moon in the middle. So I'm getting some white on my brush, and I'm going to make a circle. And then I'm doing dashes around the moon with different shades of blue. So make sure everybody at your table has got their foreground and middle ground before you start messing up the blue and the white. But you can kind of run your brush through both colors so that your brush has some of each. And then you do little dashes. So a dash is just a short line, but these are curvy dashes going around the moon. And you decide how quickly it goes from the white brightness of the moon to the sky getting darker, possibly as it gets further away from the moon. Now, my circle of dashes has kind of stopped. It's run into the top of the canvas and into my middle ground. So now this side, I'm going to fill it with curvy dashes, pretending in my mind that I'm still making a circle, but it's stopping at the snow and stopping at the top. Short little dashes. So notice this canvas, this version, the sky is looking lighter than this version. It's up to you how dark or how light you make it. And after you do one passing of it, one like filling up of the sky, you could go back over this. So like I can use my brush to smooth out down here so that it's a nice crisp line. I can then get my colors again and decide if I want to darken or lighten certain areas, but I'm going to keep going with the dashes. All right, so once you have your sky settled and you're happy with it, we're going to add silhouettes of trees. So a silhouette happens when a light is behind something and the only light source is coming from behind, and it turns the things black. So we know that these evergreen trees in real life would be some shade of green. But because the moonlight is coming from behind them, they're going to be black. And we want to use this to show distance. So things in the foreground are lower on the page and bigger than things in the background. So we're going to imagine that we have 3 of the same size trees, but we're going to show that this one's farther away because it's going to be smaller and up higher on the page. So you'll start by representing these with triangles. 1 in the foreground, 1 in the middle ground, 1 in the background. So my foreground tree is going to start near the bottom and come all the way up into the background because it's close to the viewer, so it's tall. I'm just making a triangle for now. And then somewhere in the middle ground, I'm going to do a second tree. And then somewhere in the background, really kind of close to the horizon line here, I'll do a third tree. So I don't know, I can decide if I want it here. I think I'll do this one here. So I'm representing my 3 trees by 3 triangles that are slowly getting smaller. After you have the triangle, you're going to turn it into a tree by adding these slightly curves, starting at the top a point, fluffing out. So it's kind of like an upside down V that starts to slowly get into a bigger upside down V. So let me do it slow. Like a V, and then another V that's a little bit longer. Just gonna keep going with my V's. So it's gonna pretty much be solid black, but the silhouette should look like it's a tree. So your painting needs to have a foreground, a middle ground, a background, 3 different trees that are showing depth or distance in your painting. And you can decide how soft to make your middle ground color and your background color. And that's it. Have fun.